Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Cheers to Thursday. It's actually been since last year since I broadcast from my own home studio. So thank you for joining me on this Thursday during happy hour. We actually have an exciting segment for you today. We have some exciting people coming on to speak about a new brand launch, to speak about a fashion program and a fashion show, an inaugural fashion show at Hocking College. But first, there's some news I want to share with you that has been happening here in our own world of fashion in Columbus, Ohio. Let's see, first off, don't forget to save the date for Fashion Week Columbus. That is right. It is October the 9th through the 15th. Save the date. It starts with the High Fashion 2 runway show. It ends with the finale runway show. And in between are nothing but fashion related events and runway shows. So please save the date for that. Also, exciting news. I don't know if you've heard, but we have an all-star basketball game happening on April 23rd at Nationwide Arena. And now you're wondering, what does fashion have to do with this? Well, guess what? The Columbus Fashion Council is producing their all-star fashion experience. And it's going to be taking place in the atrium at Nationwide Arena. We have 3 amazing designers that we're showcasing, who include Zampa Ward, Gerardo Encinas, and back on the scene, Joan Madison. So if you have not bought your tickets for this, I suggest please go to classicforcolumbus.com, get your tickets, but also use the VIP package code of CFCVIP for section 114. We will talk more about that in a little bit. And if you want a general admission code, that is style. What VIP gets you is you get front or second row seating to the fashion show. You also get premium seating to the basketball game, and you get access to the exclusive Lexus Lounge during the game. So don't forget to get your tickets. It will sell out. I kid you not. It is going to be a huge show. You definitely have to make it. It's on April 23rd. All right, next up, the Columbus Monthly has just recently featured 3 of our amazing fashion designers that have showcased at Fashion Week Columbus. Darcy Amaya, Tracy Powell, and Gerardo Encinas. So don't forget to pick up your most recent issue of Columbus Monthly to see them. You can also go to the website and check out the article and the features on our amazing designers. And then, last but not least on the news, but really cool, Marissa Kui just released their Metaverse fashion collection. Let's check it out real quickly. Let me see if I can make it. That is so amazing. We're living in the future, literally. This is digital fashion. These fashion designs will be sold in video games, in the metaverse. They're going to create some NFTs as well. So if you don't know Marissa Kui, they are a member of the Columbus Fashion Council, and they've showcased and debuted on the Fashion Week Columbus runway with men's swimwear. And now they're branching out into other areas of fashion. So we're super excited for them. So now next, let's see, we have our special guest on. You may know her from before. She's been on here before. I believe it was last year. She is a Columbus Fashion Council corporate member. She just launched her brand, I Am Athletics. Let me see here. I have let's do this way. I have to get this up. We worked so hard on making sure we had all these created. It is Rachel Brooks, and I'm going to bring her on right now. Let's see. Hey, Rachel, hold on. Let me make us this way. How are you? Hi.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thanks for being on again. But of course, we have to have you on because you literally just launched your amazing brand, and it's not your first brand you've launched. You've covered a lot. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Rachel, to those who may not know you.
Yeah, so I'm Rachel Brooks. I'm a fitness and lifestyle enthusiast, entrepreneur, author of a 3-time global award-winning book, Chasing Perfection, right behind me. And I am also the host of an award-winning podcast, the Confident Woman Podcast, as well as the founder of the Confident Woman Collective, and now I am athletic. So a lot of things, right? So I absolutely love creating. If you haven't figured that out, it's in my blood. It's something I'm near and dear and passionate about, and that's really just everything that I have created is really to equip and empower women to become their best and most confident selves from within.
Awesome. Look, a comment from Nia Noel, who you may know. This is
Yes,
so
thank you, Dia.
amazing. Yes, thanks, Nia. Thanks for joining us too, Nia. I know Nia never misses us. Sometimes she hosts this actually, so we keep her involved as much as we can. So Rachel, so you have accomplished a lot, and you are very inspirational, very motivational for me, for my own personal brand, for the things that I do. I know for women in general too that follow you. But so I don't know where to start, but maybe we should start at Chasing Perfection, a
Sure.
journey to healing, fitness, and self-love.
Yes.
What inspired you to write this book?
Well, to be honest, I don't think that I was actually inspired to write the book. I felt called to write the book. So there's a difference, and the irony of it is that I had actually rejected that calling up to I think 3 or 4 times. I was told you should write a book, you should write a book, you should write a book, and eventually I was just like, you know what, maybe I should, and it was something that I really had to sit with. Because it was throughout my own journey that I was really processing a lot of things that were happening in my life and thinking, okay, well, maybe if I write a book, I can at least help one person. And that was really my intention behind it, aside from really helping myself. Like throughout the writing process, I had worked with a couple mentors and coaches, and they've all even said, anytime an author writes a book, they write it for themselves. And so that was really my own journey to healing, and through that was my fitness story, to really coming out full circle, to really falling in love with me as to who I am. But it was that self-discovery journey, and I realized throughout my own process and my own journey that I was not alone on this. And I think for many of us, we feel so isolated. We feel like what's happening to us is so individual, that people won't understand it or they don't get it, and you just feel even more secluded. And so that was something that I had felt early on in my journey, and I said, well, if I can do this for myself, I want to gift this to others and let them know they are not alone on their own journey.
Wow. And I imagine you probably get a ton of emails, a ton of
Yeah.
messages about the lives that you impact, right?
Yes, it's so rewarding, and honestly, it's one of the most fulfilling things is to receive, just whether it's in the form of a review, to a message, or to just somebody through conversation, that how my work has impacted them and had also sparked the courage and confidence to go after the life that they long for as well. And it's just so rewarding, because I think that was the biggest takeaway, is that when we get out of our own ways, anything and everything becomes possible. And it was just something truly. So, for a lot of us, we have that negative self-talk, that chatter that's always telling us, you're not this, you're not that, and it just really brings us down and limits ourselves. And so, really, that was the whole message behind why I created the line "I am athletics," is because I really wanted every individual to feel so empowered, so alive, so on purpose, that they can be, do, and have anything that they desire. But we have to get out of our own way, right? So we have to quiet that voice and flip our "I am nots" to "I am," for what we speak after "I am." It shapes our reality, right? So that's the most powerful statement that we can say is "I am."
I absolutely love that. It reminds me of, I firmly believe in positive feedback loops,
Mhm.
and it starts with your talk,
Right.
and it starts with that, and then it goes to your external, like who's in your circles, and so you create this positive feedback loop that's constant with you. And then to me, I believe in the power of manifestation through
Right.
that. because then you're much more you're more powerful with your manifestation to make things happen. You're in more favorable situations. You're, exactly what you were saying, and so that's all part of that positive feedback loop. I love it. That's amazing. That really is. Before we skip to I am though, there's another, like, you have a podcast, right? Of the Confident Woman podcast. Now, does this tie into the book? Did this happen because of the book?
Yeah. So my book itself is the journey, and it was my own self-discovery journey. And even though it's written in my own language and my own storytelling through like a memoir, the concept behind it is it's like a hybrid of a self-help, because it really, I pose questions and thoughts throughout each chapter to really reflect the reader to take that time for themselves to, look within, right? Because we can go through these stories and we can just easily say, okay, great. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Right. But really, are we taking that moment to pause and say, if this individual had overcome something too, is it possible for myself? Right. So we really want to create that pause. And so there's the points to ponder after each chapter to really bring that self-discovery process into the reader's, life, and hopefully extract some of those positive, and encouraging lessons that we all have. It's just a matter of what we seek, we find. And if we're so conditioned to only seek out the bad or the negative, we'll continue getting more of that. And so it creates that relatability. And through my own storytelling and my own journey, I keep it real, raw, and relatable, which is really our premise for the Confident Woman podcast. Everything that we create on that podcast is to keep it real, raw, and relatable, and to empower women to know that they're not alone, and no matter where they're at in their journey. So whether you are just getting started in your fitness journey to your business journey or whatever facet that you are in, we bring on guests and really we, like I said, oh, great, you have this whole success stories and accolades and everything. Let's get down to that messy middle. Let's talk about the journey, because that's where the wisdom and that's the nuggets. That's all the takeaways, is that anyone who's listening, who's either sitting on the fence or just getting started or just, a few steps in, this is the motivation. This is the encouragement and inspiration to never give up and to keep moving forward, because if it's possible for one, it's possible for you.
Right. That's amazing. It's, I will put up in a second the website, one of the websites, and I believe on your AM Athletics website, it does link to.
It does.
Yes. Speaking of AM Athletics, so just recently on Friday, you launched your brand, and we've been waiting for this actually, because you've been a member for I think a year or half a year.
Around that way. Yeah, and so. Wow. It was the process, right? So it's not something that just happens overnight. And oh my gosh. And of course, COVID with that, everything, it really set us back. But, it gave us that time to really refine and put out such high quality products that we're so proud of. We have deliberately and so intentionally designed and crafted every single piece. And each piece has a representation of their meaning and purpose and intention. And it's so impactful for when our women not only wear it, but yet they're reminded of that message. They're reminded of themselves that they can be, do, and have anything in their life, right? So it's, again, that brand with such an empowering message that really doesn't just stop with, when you put on our apparel and just go about your day.
Yeah. Well, let me bring up some images from that. We can talk about that. Let me see if I can get this added. There we go.
Oh.
So this is, and I love these models. I know all of them. They're so gorgeous. Tell us about this. Tell us about this product.
Oh my gosh, all of them are just fantastic. Like these are, so the one on the left here is the open back. It's the knot t-shirt. And the one in the middle is the Own It hoodie. Oh my gosh. One of my, I love them all. It's kind of like, how do you pick a favorite, right? But I personally have been living in my prototype of the hoodie. That's how much I loved it. And so when we've got the final product, and I was just so in love with it. And we've been getting raving reviews by it. And it's one of my favorite pieces. And of course, Neha here is also carrying our I Am Athletics yoga mat, which is a 2-in-1 yoga strap. So it's also the strap and the carrier for the mat, and that's also included. And then we also have on Carissa the function t-shirt, and that one is our basic black. And again, the fit, fabric, and feel is just phenomenal. And it's the little details. So there's the little details on the sleeve, to the way we place our logo, to the neckline, to the fit. Everything is very intentional. And that's why I say it's so hard to pick a favorite, because you fall in love with your work as you do it.
Right. And I know you talked a bit about the fabric. Did you go into detail about the fabric?
Each piece is very similar. So our shirts, our tops, they're of like really buttery soft, like almost like a modal mix, and it's fluid. It's meant to move with that everyday woman. So you're not feeling like you got to tug it down or hike it up or stretch it out, and it just really is fitting and it's flattering. And the material itself, it's so comfortable. Like, I literally live in this.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful. It looks comfortable. I'm gonna have to go to your website and buy that hoodie at least, right?
Yes.
I think it'll fit me.
Yes, I would.
So speaking of your clients, the women that you serve through their brand, what is I Am Athletics' ideal woman?
Honestly, it's for that everyday woman who's on the go. She does all the things, right? So, when I was intentionally designing these pieces, was like, I don't want every woman to feel like, okay, I have to change for this outfit to do this thing, to get into this thing and go to, and so it's just too many moving parts, and women's lives are already so complicated with the demands and the pressures of just everything in life, that I wanted to simplify fashion. I wanted to simplify function, and I wanted to simplify the way that women just look and feel in the product. So, they look and feel good on the outside, but it's really manifested on the inside, as you even said, because everything is cultivated and created within. And so we become what we think and believe. And so that's why having the brand with this message is so empowering, because that starts with that individual.
Right. So we did see 3 pieces, but there are a lot more pieces in the store. So can you describe like what other pieces that you have available?
Yeah, so we have our graphic logo. So this is your everyday reminder, right? I am. We also have this in a tank top. We also have our satin seam basic black collection. So it's just a regular basic t-shirt and the tank top, which it's your basic black, but yet there's that feminine detail that just gives you that like boost the confidence, and you feel so great wearing it. Dress it up, dress it down. And every piece is designed like that as well. So you can layer it, dress it up, dress it down. We also have the zip up jacket to, oh gosh, what else do we have? A beautiful lavender ice long sleeve shirt as well. And the colors are just, they're beautiful. And of course we have big plans for expanding the line into multiple pieces, into multiple tops, bottoms, accessories. Just the division is so big that sometimes I have to pull it back, right?
Right. I understand. You're a visionary. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I think it's what we all do as visionaries, and we have these grand plans, right? But we have to like come back to reality a little bit, but not all the way. Not all the way. We're not fully attached to reality, right? To be a visionary, you have to think big. So I completely get it. But I am so excited to see, you expand the brand, and and just watching you, just all the accomplishments, with the book and the podcast. Again, super inspirational. I did have another question. So what kind of experience would you like each woman to have when they purchase and wear your brand?
I want them to feel inspired. I want them to feel empowered, and I want them to feel encouraged, and to really, again, that all starts within. But I think overall, like the message is that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are enough. And that's the I ams, right? So you have to tell yourself that, because we truly believe what we speak into existence.
Yeah, that is 100%. And believe it. You have to believe it 100%. Even more so, this is a whole nother conversation, but it's a different topic. But it's not even just believing. It is. It's in existence right now. I think that's the power of manifestation. Without us getting too woo-woo here in the fashion space, but I think it connects. We can connect the two.
Right.
Okay.
100%. It's I am, right? You have to believe it, and you have to receive it, and you have to just be it, right? You have to own it.
You have to own it. Yeah, you're part of it, and you're living it. Fresh Science. Hi, the brand name is Genius. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. That's amazing. And then earlier, Nia said, these look so comfy. So we know Nia's probably on your website right now shopping. You know Nia.
She's going to have a hard time picking out which one she wants. They're all just, I don't know. Like I said, when you get too close to your work, you love all of it, but don't take my word from it. Look at the reviews on there from our testimonials. I mean, our brand ambassadors and even our customers as they come pouring in this past week that we've launched, from the messages we've been receiving, it's just been overwhelmingly just received with so much gratitude and love. So thank you.
That's because you put that out, so you get that back, right?
Yeah.
Kind of that law of attraction type of mentality. Are you still running a launch week special promo to celebrate?
We are. And
yes.
So if you head over to our website, IAM-Athletics, we have the display on our homepage, and please take advantage of it. It's happening all week, and we are highly encouraging you to give us a try and test out all the pieces, and be sure to let us know.
That's so amazing. And also at iamathletics.com, which the website is right there. I hope I pointed at it. Is that right?
Yeah, you got it.
Got it. You can also find links to your book, your podcast, other areas, a bit more about you. It's, again, so inspirational. Rachel, do you have anything else before we move on to our next guest? Anything to share with our audiences? Any words of wisdom?
I mean, there's so many of them, but I think if I had to wrap it all up, in anything and everything that we do, you are your only limit, and you have the power to create your own story. So when we stop at where we're at, we got to think of where we want to be, and that's the gap, and that's where the real work begins.
That's right. Oh my gosh. Thank you again. This was such a short time. That went by really quickly. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will hopefully, I don't think we met in person at the finale show last year, or yes, that's it. I'm like, have we met in person? I mean, my days are all coming together, and it's already April, which is a little nuts because this whole year's going by really fast. So, but it's so good to see you always. Congratulations on your brand launch, and we're here to support you however we can. So, and thank you for your support too, by the way.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Rachel. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh my God, so inspirational. Rachel and I Am Athletics has been a corporate member of the Columbus Fashion Council since last year, and we have been waiting to see this brand launch. But as she said, it's a process, and you can't just do it overnight. And we get it, but we've been supporting along the way as much as we can. As a corporate member of the Columbus Fashion Council, Rachel receives different benefits and support, whether it's press release creation and distribution, or whether it's models that are needed for the brand, or if it's, connections to photographers and videographers, that's what we do. We have all those resources and connections. So we are so proud to have her in I Am Athletics as a corporate member of the organization. So next up is going to be a couple of special guests, and they are not strangers to our virtuals. And let me see if I can bring this up real quickly. There we go. So we have Mellissa and Coral coming up real soon. We're going to talk about Hocking College and their inaugural fashion show, and the fashion program that's going on at Hocking College. And I'm super excited that the Columbus Fashion Council is a strategic partner of theirs. We've been lending support wherever they need it. And then I will be attending as well. Hopefully have a front row seat. We'll see. We'll see what they say. We're going to put them on the spot here in a second. So let's get them in here right now. Let's bring in Mellissa first. Hello, Mellissa. And I might have muted you when you unmuted yourself. Oh, you have to unmute yourself.
There we go.
And let's bring Coral in. Coral, hello.
Hi.
Hi, let's do this. That's better. We're all in equal frames. Hi, how are you two?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Are you going a little crazy because the fashion show is coming right up?
Yeah, we're a little busy. I was in the midst of teaching class, rushing home, and now I'm in my home studio to be here with you guys. But, living the dream.
Wow. You guys are doing, let me see if this other frame works better for us. Is this better? How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just playing around with our
now we're even.
There we go, Mellissa. Melissa, I don't know if you need to clean your lens or if that's just the resolution or if it's what's happening there, but we can still see you.
Probably. Give me a second here.
While you're doing that, I will have you two just introduce yourselves for our audiences if they don't know you already.
Well, I'll just start since Melissa's messing with her lens. Hi, I'm Coral Wedel. I'm the program manager of fashion design and retail merchandising at Hocking College. I'm also an independent designer. I have a namesake brand, Coral Marie, small batch kind of lifestyle brand of sustainable fashion. So that's me.
Mellissa.
I am Mellissa Miller. I am also an independent designer here in Central Ohio. For those of you who attend CFC and Fashion Week events, you've probably seen me tootling around. I volunteer on the side with our marketing team at Columbus Fashion Council. So you'll see me wandering around with a cell phone at times. But I started at Hocking College this past August, and it's definitely been a really interesting experience, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Which is amazing because I think you started was it late last year or this year? I can't remember because you broke the news and I thought it was super exciting.
It was the first or second week of August, I think, was the first week of school.
Yeah. So for both of you, a question is, what made you want to get into fashion education, being educators within that field?
For me, I've always wanted to be able to give back to the region, my skill set, and what I love. And for me, I grew up here in Southeast Ohio, in the Athens area, so just a little south of Nelsonville. And I went away and I studied fashion because the opportunity to study in this way wasn't available to me then. And so I went away and I studied, and then, I worked in the industry, and then I kind of came home to raise my family here. And this opportunity developed, and then here I am being able to kind of offer those skills right here in my region in a way that wasn't available to me when I was coming into the industry. So for me, that's really what drew me.
Coral, that's great. I grew up in a really small town in Texas, literally like 400 people in that town, and fashion design, I knew nothing about it, so when I graduated, it was like, okay, go to the college and figure out some kind of major, but fashion was never part of it. So I'm really, when you say that, when you came back and that wasn't available to you, but now you want to make it available to others, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, Melissa, it's a cool opportunity that I get to do that.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. Melissa, how about you?
Well, I didn't necessarily think that a fashion educator was in my future until Coral offered me a job. I am self-taught. I don't have a degree in fashion, any part of fashion, design, marketing, any of that. It's all what I've taught myself. And you two know my story. I'm sure some other people do too. Like, I grew up in an Amish community in Tennessee, and so fashion was definitely not an option. But I started sewing when I was about 9 years old on a machine, a little earlier than that for hand sewing. And that was experimenting and playing with fabric has always been something that I've loved, but there were certain things that I wasn't allowed to do. So, I kind of kept that as just something I did for fun. Like, even once I kind of left that environment and was out on my own, I still didn't necessarily see that as something that was valuable other than, potentially to clothe myself, until I kind of started, putting myself out there a little more. And then as I've, learned things myself, I've taken on, mentees and people that have asked me, well, you've been sewing a long time, can you help me? So like little things like that, a lot of one-on-one instruction that I've given to people, but never like a large official classroom setting. So that wasn't even like on the scope of what I thought I would do. And I just assumed since I didn't have a degree in that, that would, wouldn't necessarily even be an option. And then Coral approached me at the beginning of last year and kind of started those talks. And, she pulled a team together to kind of just go over my experience and, what I have background wise and everything. And had some people take a look and check it off and say, yep, looks good. And so here I am.
That's so amazing. And I knew most of your story, but to hear that story reminds us, or me at least, that the world is different today. You don't need a degree to do a lot of. I mean, if you're going to be a heart surgeon, please go to school for a heart surgery. Go to medical school. But for these, to be an instructor in design, fashion design, you just have to have experience and the, from what I understand from what you're saying, and the portfolio of work to prove your experience and that you're, good for that class or good to be an instructor. So speaking of fashion design, so this is Hocking College. I always do that. Hocking College's inaugural fashion show, senior fashion show, right? Can you tell us more about the fashion design program before we go into the fashion show, though? Because that's where it starts, and then the seniors from there go to get qualified for the fashion show. So tell us more about the fashion design program.
Yeah, so it's a new program. We're in our second year. So what that means is not only is it our inaugural fashion show, that means we're graduating our inaugural class. So we are a community college. So our program is an Associates of Applied Science. So they're going for a 2-year degree. So that means our first class is graduating. It's very exciting.
That is exciting.
So it's really cool. So our graduating class of seniors has the opportunity to show a 3-piece collection on the runway. And then we also have invited our first-year students to show one look as well. So it's a pretty great opportunity for students to right off the bat get experience with live show production, as well as actually designing and producing looks and participating in that live show. So it's really an opportunity to kind of showcase all of the different things we do within the program. So this is a fashion design and retail merchandising associate's degree. So it's a wide breadth. So they get their hands-on experience in a wide range of things within the industry. And this really showcases all of that work.
Wow. Congratulations. Literally. I'm sure last year when you first started the fashion design program that it becomes a, I don't know, kind of organic in what I'm thinking about, in an organic way, making it something that this big to impact those students' lives. That's amazing. So quick question though, regarding the fashion program. Regarding the fashion students. So all 3 of us actually were just in a conversation recently, along with CCAD, to talk about bringing all the students together from the different fashion programs in Ohio or in Central Ohio, so Hocking College, CCAD, and hopefully OSU, together at one of the host schools and create a networking event for the students. Mellissa, you kind of started the ball rolling on that. I know we've talked about this in the past, and I know the Columbus Fashion Council is coming in to help assist and support where it's possible, but talk a bit more about that, Mellissa.
Well, I have just learned, in my own personal experience that networking in any industry is fairly important, but the fashion industry especially is driven by networking in many cases. And so we've talked about this, both Coral and I, with the students, like you should be approaching this program and your fellow students as your colleagues, as your work colleagues. Like you should kind of be starting to kind of take on this attitude. And, we've had conversations on, oh, I'm just really shy and it's really difficult to talk to people. And what am I going to talk about? And I was like, I totally understand that. It's just, you have to find what works best for you, because if you want to succeed in this industry and as a professional in general, like that is a skill that you're going to have to cultivate it. Like there's no way around it. So, there are certain things you can do to kind of make yourself comfortable. And I've shared some ways that I do that, like the little ways I like prep myself and like pump myself up before I walk into an event. And then, it kind of comes with practice. So I really wanted to give our students a way to practice that with other peers, and maybe have some input from professionals that have been in the field for a while, but it wouldn't be quite as intimidating as like a full-on, let's say, industry mixer, or professional networking event. And so I had reached out to both you and to Suzanne Cotton separately last year about, maybe we throw something together, informal, formal, whatever the case may be, just to kind of give our students and then their students the chance to practice networking, because they're all in the same boat right now as far as coursework and, working towards graduation and everything. And I mean, everybody that I mentioned it to, and then, I brought it to Coral too as well, of course. And everybody was like, yeah, this would be great. A great way for students to practice networking skills, to kind of cultivate a network for themselves of colleagues and peers that they could reach out to later on as they move on into other parts of the industry or past their education stage. And, also kind of have some access to not just their own educators, but other educators at other schools as well. And also kind of give a chance potentially to, take a tour of the various schools to see if it's somewhere that either they would want to transfer to for our students, or, if students have siblings or friends that want to go, but maybe they don't want to go to the same school their friend does, and what other options are there? And well, hey, we know these students down at Hocking and they like it, So, it benefits the schools as well, bringing potential students in to interact with each other. So, we kind of got the ball rolling over the last couple months, and we've got that coming up soon. I'm really excited. I think it's going to end up being a really good resource for, all of the fashion students around Central Ohio.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. I think, what's the date on that again? It's in the back of my mind, but I'm so focused on different fashion.
Whatever the win
27th. Yeah, 27th, I think.
All I know is it's the week after the show.
That's right. I know. I'm sure you exactly. I'm sure you're all focused on the show. But it's called Fashion Ed Mix and Mingle. And super, super excited about that because, again, part of our mission is to help fashion design students. So that's what we do at the Columbus Fashion Council as part of our mission. So I really appreciate that. So speaking of fashion design students, again, we have a fashion show coming up, your inaugural fashion show. That is coming up on the 22nd, right? And so what can we expect to see at your inaugural fashion show?
One of the most exciting things is really the feature, right? Is our graduating students and their three-piece collections. So through their entire time at Hocking College, they've really been developing those professionalism skills, how to do life, how to do college, and then those actual skills in fashion, right? And some of them are focused a little more this way or a little more that way, and they've developed, what their interests are, and they've put together a brand concept. And then this will be a three-piece collection from that concept brand. So that's really exciting. And then also those first-year students just getting the opportunity to put something on the runway, make something, think of something, develop it, and see what happens. We also have some collaborative works that'll be there that are coming out of our fashion club, which is also brand new and will be up for auction for benefit for the Hocking College Foundation at their gala May 7th. So we have some pretty exciting things on the docket for the show.
Well, what do you mean when you say collaboration? Like a collaboration between different departments of the school, or collaboration between student designers, or?
Between student designers and faculty as well. So I've had my hand in a couple pieces and some guidance. And then, multiple students working on things, and they kind of all tie in together. So it's been a little bit of a collaborative work effort all the way around.
Nice. I'm super excited. And I did say I was going to put you guys on the spot. Do I have a front row seat or not? Just kidding. You don't have to answer that.
Of course you do.
God, hey. No, I appreciate that. No, any support we can give, we're happy to do. So, and if you need me to stand up, I will happily stand up. I'm not that diva. Matter of fact, at the finale show last year for Fashion Week Columbus, I was standing in the back because remember, Mellissa, we had to move all the chairs from the other side of the courtyard
Last minute.
The last minute. We fit 350 people under this awning at Gravity. I don't know how we did that, but we were short a few chairs, and I just stood up in the back, which was fine. You know, I want my guests to be happy and comfortable, and I want my designers to be showcased to all of them. So, yeah. So if you need me to stand in the back, that's fine.
We're really happy to have Columbus Fashion Council on board as a strategic partner. It's really helping us get the word out about the show, which in turn helps us get the word out about the program. Like I said, it's a new program. You know, a lot of people don't know we exist yet, and we're really building this into something that's going to be an amazing entry point, an accessible entry point into this industry for students of all walks of life. And I'm most proud about that fact. So really glad for the support.
I think it's amazing. You know, just knowing that Central Ohio is the third, ranked number 3 in the nation for the number of fashion designers that are here. And we are a top fashion industry city as well, you know, and now we have this new program, you know, it very, very close to us, which those students will hopefully filter into, stay in Central Ohio, right? Work and live by doing what they love. So, the students, do they have to go through a process to be accepted to the runway for your fashion show?
They need to be in good academic standing. So they need to be completing their coursework and be in good academic standing. And as long as that's happening, those seniors are part of the show, and those first-year students have been invited to be part of that opportunity this year.
Nice. Do you have a jury or anything like that that looks and provides feedback for their collections?
So I can let Mellissa speak to this a little bit because she organized a wonderful guest panel that came in both in person and virtual to give feedback to the seniors on their collections as they were developing. So the course or the kind of development process that we have is the Collection Lab 1, where they're developing kind of the whole framework for this collection. And they did that with Mellissa, and then they moved into Collection Lab 2, where they're really producing the work based on all of that pre-work and feedback from industry professionals. And now they're producing the work for the show in my class. So I'll let Mellissa speak a little on that part.
Yeah, that was just me kind of sitting and brainstorming, like, what are some ways that I can kind of give some additional benefit, because it's fine. I can critique their work and give them my own opinions. And they have to listen to me, but having several sets of eyes outside of like the 2 of us that are seeing them every day and seeing their work every day, having like these fresh eyes come in and kind of take a look at and pick the brains of the students and make them think a little deeper about what it is that they're doing. I find it extremely helpful when I can get somebody, I mean, even my husband, he is nothing to do with fashion. He's an engineer. He's complete opposite brain. Like, you know, I'm very, you know, creative. He's very logical. And I will still have him like, I just need you to take a look at this and give me like an unbiased opinion on what you think. So I work really well with that kind of critique. And so I wanted to provide that for the students. So I reached out to, you know, several different connections that I have now because of networking. And said, hey, would you mind just like giving an hour of your time, you know, about 4 weeks apart. So would be our midterm and then our final week of the whatever course is being worked on. And just kind of that way they can give them like a halfway point feedback and then kind of a final amount, you know, so that as they're going into their production lab with Coral, they've had already several people saying, here's what I think you should change, or here's how I would tweak this, both from a branding perspective. So in my class, they had to create an entire brand that's going to go with this collection, right? Whether they keep this brand afterwards, who knows? But for the show, they had to come up with a brand. So they had to create a logo, they had to create taglines, they had to come up with mission statement, the entire thing. And So at our like halfway point midterm meeting, it was the critique was more focused on that, because they had like a general idea of their collection and kind of some very basic like sketches, but it was more like the branding and the presentation on how they wanted to kind of present themselves at the show, and at their meet and greets, and what kind of typography were they using, and all this different stuff. So we had one at that point, and then about 4 weeks later at the end of the course, after they had then created more detailed sketches, they had to do sketches, they had to do tech packs, they had to do illustrate. I mean, all of those things that kind of go into developing a collection in the real world, they had to at least kind of have some of that practice in place. And so by the time we had that last panel, some of them even already had their pieces started. They kind of got ahead and started kind of piecing some things together to kind of have something to show, whether it was either a muslin that was fit to a mannequin, or the actual fabric draped on to something. And so that way at that last final meeting, then they went back over the branding and all of that again. They had to present from the very beginning, as if they were presenting it to a production team, because I wanted to kind of mimic, like, if you go and you start your own business, that's one thing. But if you're working for an organization or a company, like, you're going to be required, if you're on the design team, to present it in this way. And these are the formats that are typically used. And here are all the things that should be included, to kind of give them some of that experience before they even got into production mode. So we didn't necessarily do any kind of jury. They were automatically already going to be in the show, because that is part of the program, the way it's established. But they did get a lot of really helpful critique and feedback, I think, which I think kind of, I noticed a bit of an attitude shift after that. It seemed like not only was like it getting more real because like the time was shortening, but also now they had people from complete, they didn't know, or they didn't know very well, coming in and being very blunt and saying, this is what needs to change. This, you need to get better at doing this. Here's how you should tweak it. And if you're going to present yourself in this way, here are the things that you need to add or take away if this is the vibe you're trying to give with your clothing collection. It's not reading this way. You need to do something, or it's reading too much this way, and how are you going to tweak it? So not so much a jury like deciding what they're going to do, but a lot of really helpful feedback, I think.
That's great. No, that's really important. You know this, I don't have to tell you, but for our audiences, it's super important to get feedback from other experts within the industry, and I think it's great. What a great program. I mean, you're taking them along the journey of like starting their own brand, exactly what you're saying. They're going through the whole journey of that. That's awesome. Good job. Kudos to you too. And the rest of your team. So the fashion show itself, is it, I think you told me, Mellissa, maybe, is it totally student ran with everything that's going on, right, with the production, or no? I can't remember.
They're helping to produce the show. Yeah. So
okay.
That's part of the portfolio class, because they are kind of helping conceive the whole thing, being a part of the organizing of it. Obviously, Mellissa and I are kind of like the leads, but they are helping to organize and produce the show, helping us, make decisions with some of the marketing and all of that throughout this whole process. And then they will be working the show as well in different capacities, whether it be backstage or an usher, or taking tickets, or hair and makeup. There's different aspects that they'll be helping to work and run the show as well. We have a few students that are going to participate as models, and then we have quite a wonderful selection of semi-professional models. So very broad range of different skill sets of models as well. So it's a pretty diverse set of ways that people are involved in the show.
Nice. And
Yeah,
then, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and was it last week? 2 weeks? I'm losing track of time. But anyways, we had, I think it was last week, we had our fittings. And then a Fashion Week Columbus alum, April Dorset, she came down. She is modeling for one of our students, but she came down and did a whole little coaching session with all of the models, which was great because we have several that have been doing runway shows before, but a lot of them are students, like not even necessarily in our program, but students from around Hocking College, you know, friends of the students that, you know, they've asked to be their models. And so they were brand new to all of that. So they've kind of gotten a little bit of that too, like that little bit of coaching and like, here's what you should do. And here's how you listen to the music and different poses. She did a really good job just kind of going over all of that. So that was, I think, kind of fun because everybody, after the seriousness of the fittings, got to just kind of like chill and watch and cheer each other on and kind of like dance around the room. So
I think April's amazing. We love her. She's been such a dedicated model with Fashion Week Columbus and the other programs of the Columbus Fashion Council. Matter of fact, I did talk to her last night and she did tell me about that. So I was super proud of that. You know, she's making an impact on students. And I think we tend to forget too, not that maybe the students are models, you know, as well in real life. That's quite possible, but being a model is a small business. You know, when you're a model and you're making money, that is a small business. And so, you know, having a working model like April come in and instruct them further, that's amazing. And I'll tell you this too, I know for a fact that you can have the best designs in the world, but if your models can't walk those designs down the runway, it's not going to look good. So you guys are doing great, you know, getting that coaching for your student models. That's amazing. Good job. So I heard a rumor that I think you're sold out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we sold out real fast.
Sold out. I lost you. Hold on. There you are. Yeah, this is on your site right now. Someone was asking, can I get one of our board members was asking if he can get tickets still. I'm like, well, I think if you become a sponsor, you can, but I don't think you can get regular tickets at this point.
Yeah, no, tickets are all sold out. They sold out really fast. That's wonderful and exciting. But yeah, we're going to have to re-strategize for next year, consider our venue and capacity. I've just been really, really honored about the outpouring of support from the community, from the industry, from the college, you know, from everyone. It's been great. And so it just reaffirms to me how important this is, this work that we're doing. And it's really easy on the daily to get like lost in all of it. It's a lot, you know, it's a lot to manage and to do. And we change lives at the community college level. You know, these are students who are coming in and maybe they don't even know how to use a measuring tape, or maybe they've never sewn before in their lives, or they've never even sketched, right? And so we're cultivating from that to a fashion show of original designs in a 2-year degree. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud of the support all the way around that we're getting. So it's obviously something we need, and we're making a difference in people's lives. And I'm just really grateful that we have the support to be able to do that.
I love it. I love it. What wisdom or lessons do you hope your students take with them after they graduate?
Consistency. I hope they take consistency with them to like just keep doing it, right? I think more than anything in young people lately, what I am noticing is like the tendency to give up easily. And I think we develop skill. I say this all the time as an instructor. We develop skill by practicing. That's what skill is. And so if they just stay consistent and practice whatever they're going to do, they'll go far. And I hope they take that with them.
It's a great life lesson. 100% consistency is so important. I love that. Mellissa, any wisdom or lessons you hope your students take with them after graduation?
Mine would be very similar to Coral's. Not so much the being consistent, but more being proactive. There's always more to learn. You will never not learn something. We had somebody come down and speak to the students, and she's been in the industry for like 30 years in a fairly high executive level at this point. And she's like, I still learn something new every day. because the industry is always changing. So you're never going to like completely 100% gain all the skills ever because it's constantly changing and you have to learn to adapt with that. And so learning how to be proactive in a consistent way, but in a calculated way. What is this particular skill going to add? And how do I approach it? If I don't have someone around who can teach it to me, like, how am I going to learn it? You know? And so in general, especially in this industry, taking the time to research something. Okay, I'm really not happy with how this thing is turning out. And instead of saying, well, I'll just leave it, it's fine. Like, I'll deal with it. It'll make do. Nobody can see it anyways. You know, no, how do I make this better? Because you want to make quality work because that's what's going to bring the customers back time and time again. Because if your work's not quality, people are going to know, you know. So I would say being proactive is really important and just really paying attention to the details that, and there's so many details and I get it and it's overwhelming at times, but those are necessary to this industry, especially.
Yeah. I mean, it's fashion. It's all in the details, right? So future students, there's a question, actually, I'm gonna put it up on the screen, kind of a question and a statement. My daughter loves fashion. She would like to be in the fashion industry. So how would future students get involved at Hocking College with the fashion program?
They can just get on hocking.edu and look up majors. I just popped the website in there. Yeah. So that's the link to the fashion show. And then also there's a link if you go into the majors tab where you can check out all the different majors that we offer, because we offer a lot of job ready programs. But you can click fashion design and retail merchandising. You can see the degree track, what the cost is, and all of that. And if you want to learn more about the show specifically, the link to that is right there with Tommy.
It's amazing. Thank you two so much for being on here. I look forward to seeing you in person in a week. It's just a week away. Oh my God.
It's so soon.
But please let me know or my team know if there's anything we can do to support leading up. I know we've been lending support here and there, but if you can think of anything that we haven't done yet, or if you can think of something that just comes up all of a sudden, please reach out. You know, we're always here for you. So
thank you. We really appreciate the support and the opportunity. So thank you.
Yes, of course. All right. Thank you so much. We're about to end our session here. I'm going to remove both of you. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys really soon. So amazing. Hocking College, guys, a fashion program. This is amazing. That means, you know, we have a fashion and a retail and fashion program at OSU. We have a fashion design program at CSAD, which is the top 20 in the world. And then we have Hocking College. Further down the street, we have Kent State. This is a fashion state. Central Ohio is a fashion region. So before we go, I did promise to talk about our upcoming fashion show at, let me see if I can just get up here right now. There we are. Let's do that so you can see all this. So basically, don't forget, April 23rd, after the Hocking College Fashion Show, we have the All-Star Fashion Experience at Nationwide Arena. It is part of Classic for Columbus's All-Star Basketball game. It's at 1 p.m. The only way to get tickets to this is by purchasing a game seat. This is part of your game seat ticket. There are two options. You can get a VIP package, which includes front or second row seating to the fashion show. It also includes exclusive access to the VIP Lexus Lounge during the game and premium seating at the game. You have to use the code CFC VIP. And actually, I have it here. Hold on, let me pull that up. There it is. Boom. And you have to go to section 114. That is the designated VIP section. Now, if you want general admission, that's completely fine too. General admission gets you standing room at the fashion show, and it gets you a seat at the game. So that code to use is STYLE, and that's any section, anywhere. So please remember, get your tickets. They will run out. I promise you, there's limited seating. There are celebrities that are going to be there as well. I heard Vivica Fox is making an appearance, Bow Wow, Romeo, that girl Lele, and a few others. So it's going to be a huge event on April 23rd. Please do not forget. Anyhow, well, it was great seeing everybody, or it was great to have you see me. And it was great having my guest on here. And, you know, we love supporting our corporate members. We love supporting our startup brands, our fashion brands, and we love supporting our amazing fashion programs at our Central Ohio schools. So please support them as well. And let's continue to elevate Columbus and Central Ohio as number 3 in the nation for fashion designers. On that note, I will leave you with the end of today's segment. Thank you so much for being part of today's segment, and we will see you